First, next, and last. Understanding such a simple sequence is a key part in children's learning and a key step in language development, because once you can talk about a simple sequence of events, that's the beginning of a story. You can tell any number of tall tales if you have a string of events. And many children need a little bit of help to understand this whole idea of sequencing, which is so key for their learning once they're in school and their overall language development. Not to mention, it's fun if you can start talking about events and share stories with others. So in this video, I want to share with you 5 of the ways that I approach this in therapy sessions and give you some ideas of some things that you can try out at home with your little one. Very little kit required, and let's just kind of dive into it. The first thing is to use vocab and be really clear and consistent about the vocab you're using that really highlights, oh, this is a sequence of events. So the classic beginning point is now and next. So understanding the present moment and the plan for what you're going to do right after that. So that's really just a 2-part sequence. And after a while, after children have got that concept, then your vocab might move on to something like first, next, and last. So a bit more kind of complexity to your vocab. But next, if you're going to pick anything, next is your word, because that really points out the whole kind of sequence of events. So you can use this key vocab within a specific activity, and I'll share a couple things with you today. But also you can use this vocab when you're talking about everyday events. So say you are getting the breakfast ready, you can say first we need a bowl, next we pour in the cereal, next we pour in the milk, and last we grab a spoon. My second suggestion is to use objects. Objects are the most concrete visual clue that you can give a child about what you are saying. And so you can say, first, let's play ball, next, let's do puzzle, and last, let's play tea set. The next step on from using objects is to use pictures. So you can print out special pictures or you can just draw something on a board. So we've got a now and next board here. So starting with that most basic understanding of sequencing, now this, next this. And I like to use a whiteboard because it's really flexible. I don't happen to have a nicely printed out picture symbol for finger puppets, but it's something that we like to play with. So I've just drawn out some finger puppets and the train set next. And children really enjoy to either cross it off like this, or to just rub it out and say, oh, that one's finished. That one's done. So next is train set. The next step on from a very simple now and next board is to have a bit of a visual schedule. Oh, the shopping game is finished, so we'll take that off, put it in our finished pouch at the bottom. Oh, next is puzzle. Oh, puzzle's finished. Next is choosing. Next, my next suggestion is to use photos, to take pictures of your child doing a particular activity so that you can then print these out and practice putting them together in a sequence of pictures to help your child understand, oh, this is me doing one activity, but we've got this whole kind of sequence of pictures, oh, and sequences of sentences or phrases to go with that. So, for example, you might want to make some birthday cupcakes out of Play-Doh, and so as you're doing this, you can take photos of what's going on and then print those out. But it's really good practice for retelling an event, and this is something that many children can find difficult. So say they want to share with Granny over Zoom what they've been up to, how they made these Play-Doh cupcakes. They've got an extra little visual prompt that they can lay out in front of them, and with your help, they can talk through what they did. I also like to take pictures of the key events within a favorite storybook, and we can then use these again as little cutout pictures to sequence the main events and retell the main events in the story. Finally, my last suggestion would be to use tech. There's some great apps out there that are an excuse to practice this kind of sequencing. My favorite is called iSequences, and it has a wealth of simple stories and also has a few extra bonuses like making basic guesses about the emotions attached to that event or making a prediction about what might happen next. I also use some apps that help me to create digital books or picture sequences, going back to what we were thinking about creating those familiar photo sequences for a child. something called SS Stories, and also Book Creator are two apps that I've used to create these kind of digital versions. So if you don't have a printer at home, you could use an app like this to still give your child that practice of looking through a familiar set of photos without having to print out, cut, laminate, etc. There you have it. There's just a few suggestions for how we can teach children about sequencing rather than just testing them to see whether they've got this idea. Remember, I'm always about give rather than quiz, and this is a way that I practice that in my therapy sessions. So let me know which of these ideas has caught your interest in the comments so that I can know what works for you. And if you would like a monthly little digest of these ideas, remember that I always have my email newsletter that goes out on the 1st of the month, and you can sign up over at saltbythesea.com, because it's really lovely to have you here and to connect over the interweb, especially as we're doing so much of that these days. Really appreciate you being here. Every tiny step you're taking with your child is a step in the right direction. So thank you for being here, and I'll catch you next time.